episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh my.
This is the third installment of our Haunted Dolls. And today we are going to, now I've been hinting at it, I will be hinting at that we will be talking about one that I find personally particularly awful. And it is called Okiku. Okiku? It is a Japanese doll, and it is awful for many reasons, which we will soon be getting into. So if you haven't watched the other two episodes, we've talked about Annabelle the doll and Robert the Haunted doll as well. Now, Robert the doll was pretty creepy, a little weird coconut face little thing, so make sure you check out those episodes. You know, we have, like, interesting discussions about the Warrens and the Annabelle one, and Robert the doll is a much more interesting story than Annabelle, where I think Annabelle, you know, we've said that the more interesting facets come from the Warrens themselves.
Yeah.
Now this doll is kind of its own thing, and it definitely has like some unique features that make it stand out from the rest. Before we begin, as always, please make sure to check out our Patreon if you like what we do and want to help support us, because smaller channels like us are like harder to, like, you know, get monetization stuff from YouTube, just because, you know, we don't pull in as many views, but we are working at it. Also, please, if you like listening to the podcast and not just watching the videos, leaving us a review on your listening platform of choice, like Apple Music is definitely one. It helps a lot to have higher ratings. Not all let you leave a rating, but if the one you're listening to does, then that helps. I guess Spotify is like the number one that we're listening to on. I don't know. I don't think they allow reviews on Spotify. Not that I know. I don't use Spotify for my podcasts that I listen to. I use Apple Music. But that being said, we will, I guess we'll kind of just get into this thing. So in 1918, a young man purchased the doll that would later on claim the name Okiku as her own for his 2-year-old sister, and the legend would kickstart a tourism flash. So, like, this is the thing that a lot of people, it's kind of like Robert the doll, well, and Annabelle used to be, which you can't really see Annabelle anymore, but people kind of travel all over to see this thing.
So this doll is in Japan, and basically this young man bought this doll for his younger sister. The younger sister, unfortunately, about a year after getting the doll, actually passed away. And I guess it's a tradition for Japanese families to make shrines to the deceased. And they made a shrine for the little girl, and they put the doll in it. Then they started to notice weird things happening with the doll. Most notably, at this time, was that the doll's hair started to grow.
Yep.
Initially, when the doll was bought, it had like a short bob. And they noticed that the hair was, like, at its waist.
Yeah.
After a while, and they're like, what? And they're like, okay, that's weird. Then they also noticed that the doll would move around the house. They would find it in different rooms and in different positions, you know, like any haunted doll would do. Then they also were experiencing flickering lights, banging noises, voices, all your typical haunted something kind of thing. These noises, ironically, would only occur around the birth and death dates of the little girl. So they kind of like assumed that this was the little girl that possessed the doll. Which is, I mean, okay.
Right.
So then, eventually, they, family really didn't want the doll anymore, and they wanted to move. So they gave the doll to a temple that was not too far from their home, saying, she'd rather stay around this area. How about you guys take this doll and take care of it? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And the priests are like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
So the temple is actually near where the little girl's actual grave is, and that's why they wanted to keep it there. They didn't want to take it further away from there because they thought that the doll got its energy from the little girl, and the closer it was to the body,
right,
the more, it did things. Which, I mean, wouldn't you want it to not do things if it was further away? But
yeah, but the belief is, that it's they basically were looking at it as it was their little girl in this doll's body.
yeah,
And so they didn't want to basically part ways with their daughter, or with the little girl's spirit.
yeah.
Which was kind of the thing.
So the priest took it. They made them their own little shrine at their temple for this doll. And they actually said that the activity has increased since it's been in this temple. So much so that the hair is growing faster. Yay. They have seen the doll and the little girl in their dreams.
Yeah, that's a big one, is they see, and then, like, when they would wake up in the morning, sometimes the doll would just be by their side.
Yeah, the doll would just, like, walk around and be by their beds.
So
and
let's take a minute
like
to think about that. So this doll who grows human hair, sometimes you dream about her, and then when you wake up, it's beside you.
No thanks.
No.
No, thank you.
No, absolutely not. Even if it is a little girl, which, and again, that's kind of like another topic of discussion here is, now in the Annabelle case, the Warren state that only evil spirits, or demons, I'm sorry, not evil spirits, demons, specifically demons, can possess items and people. So this is completely contrary to that belief.
Yeah.
Because they believe that it is the little girl. So, of course, that also would lead one to think, well, maybe it's not this little girl. Maybe it actually is a demon, basically acting as if though...
Yeah, just taking a dear old time getting to the big scary stuff, I guess. But, yeah, that... I don't want to wake up with a doll next to me.
No, absolutely not. And it says the closer the year got to certain key dates, like her birthday and the day of her death, things would even get, like, more intense, I guess, like your normal flickering lights and bangings in the house and noises and strange voices, like, which, like that kind of stuff. Like, if it is the little girl, why would that be happening? Like, why would there be weird, strange voices just all around? Like,
yeah,
that's weird. If it's a little girl, 3
yeah.
years old, like,
yeah, she wasn't even that old. She was, she
could
was
barely even talk.
Yeah, that just seems suspect to me.
Yeah. Don't be suspicious. Okay.
So, yeah, they, well, the latest thing, and this is what really grosses Josh out, is that not only is the doll's hair growing, but apparently people who have visited this doll claimed that the doll is growing teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm sure he's going to throw in a picture of the doll.
Yeah.
It's just got like a basic mouth, but they've actually noticed that the mouth has like opened a little bit, and you can actually see teeth in there.
So they say.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a picture of this, so that, I don't know exactly how true that is. But, like, I mean, it says that they regularly give the doll's hair trims.
That's gross.
That's, like, awful. Like, and again, it's in Japan, so I haven't, like, seen this thing personally. But, like, this is fairly, I mean, it's not as popular as, like, Annabelle or anything, but, like, it's a fairly popular thing for people to go see. So, like, is it someone just faking it? Because, I mean, like, hair growing is a physical thing. Like, I mean, it's a physical thing that people are seeing. Like, it's getting longer, and then people are having to cut it because it keeps getting longer. So, that's just... I've never heard another story like that because it's something that's continuously happening. Like...
No.
Put a camera on it. I want to watch a time lapse of the hair growing.
Yeah, that would actually make sense. just put a time lapse, like just put like a regular
Right.
camera on there so we can actually see the doll's hair growing. Because apparently it's been growing faster now
Yeah.
that it's at this temple and it's closer to the child's grave.
Yes, because I guess
But-
it's like a more direct communication method.
Yeah.
It's a better, stronger cell phone signal for her vessel.
It's 5G.
Yeah, she's 5G. The doll's 5G ready. But like, yeah, I mean, I kind of like think it almost sounds like they're doing it for tourism, like making the hair longer or something. Because like, if something is continuously happening, like, I would assume there should be video footage of it happening. Like I said, like a time lapse. Like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
someone have done that by now, right?
Right. Yeah, you think
Or
that
maybe it is
someone...
out there, but
Well,
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen it.
Japan is known for their very strong beliefs in the paranormal and ghosts. Like
Right.
they are big time into it. And you'd think, yeah, that someone would have thought of that and been like, "Hey, let's put a camera on this so we can actually see this." Because I know I did read a story not too long ago about somebody getting like well, actually we were listening to a podcast and they were talking about the guy was watching security cameras and he kept seeing this woman and he kept watching it and watching it and watching it, and this woman like kept showing up at the same exact time every single night and stuff like that. It's like, well, why wouldn't you do that with this doll? Videotape it.
Right.
See what happens. Because, yeah, I'm kind of suspect with it. I'm
right.
not
So,
sure.
I mean, if you know of any footage of that stuff that I haven't seen, yeah, feel free to send it to me or leave it in the comments below.
Yeah.
But yeah, Japan, like, has a lot of, like, mysticism, mythological beliefs, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not uncommon for them to, like, kind of believe in that kind of stuff because they're a little bit more susceptible to believing
Yeah.
more spiritual things, I think, than other countries. Which is interesting. Like I said, they have a lot of, and I've stated before that I feel like Japan's ghost stories are creepier than like other countries' ghost stories.
Yeah.
Just how creepy like the ghost designs are and stuff like that. Like, you know, if you watch movies or if you play video
like
games
The
or read
Ring
books.
and, you know, The Grudge and all that stuff. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
all originally Japanese. And if you watch the original ones, those are pretty freaking scary.
Yeah.
And they believe in that kind of stuff. Like a lot of their legends and stuff like that are that.
And the hair
creepy.
thing, creepy hair is definitely a pretty big staple in like creepy Japanese stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, and this doll's hair keeps growing, so it almost like it seems like something that kind of an allure as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is if you're going to fake something to like bring in tourism, I feel like that's a pretty easy thing to fake. It's just like keep putting different wigs or something.
I was
on
gonna
it.
say
I
just
don't
plop
know.
a wig on it and then be like, oh yeah, we're cutting the wig.
Because I assume they don't let
you
like
know?
the public just walk up and touch this thing. I'm sure it's like up somewhere in like a glass case,
Probably.
so you can't like touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but just the thought of this thing and this, you know what I mean? It's kind of a tragic story because, yeah, I mean, like I said, the girl was only 3 years old. What did she had? Yellow fever, I think it was.
I read yellow fever, and then I also
Yep, yellow
read
fever.
a flu of some sort.
Well,
so
I mean,
probably
yeah,
yellow fever.
yellow fever said descend on the girl, and she died gasping for air in pain and afraid. You know, so I mean, and she had the doll, and she was holding the doll firmly in her grasp. This article states, as she died. So, you know, that's kind of where they believe. But, I mean, also, if you don't, you know, again, if we're going by the Warrens' ideal that you can only demons can possess objects, it's definitely a thing that's believed that in times of tragedy and stuff that it kind of can open up the realm to negative entities and stuff like that. So maybe the tragedy of all of this happening, like something was able to, you know, if you believe in that, of course, you know, this is all theoretical if you actually believe in that kind of thing, but it like opened up a realm and this thing was able to kind of get in there and take over the doll, maybe try and trick the family.
Yeah.
Kind of thing too. Because I know I've heard stories like similar to that. I feel like there's when we ghost hunted at Madison Seminary, there's a story that's very similar to that of like there's some kind of awful like thing that happened and they think it like brought in a negative entity that is like now possessing one of the objects there.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a
Speaking of, you haven't watched that episode, you should go watch the episode of Haunted Adventures where we ghost hunt Madison Seminary.
Yeah, there's a rumor that there's somebody buried under the seminary.
Yeah.
And they started digging a hole. and they kept digging this hole, and they think they may have unleashed something into the seminary, but for some weird reason, it's only kind of like staying in that room where that hole is. It's almost like that area is the only way that this thing can go to. And yeah, they think it's a negative entity of some sort.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? But what would you do if you witnessed a doll that you bought start to grow hair and
Teeth.
teeth that it didn't once have? If you bought a doll for your child and that started happening, I mean, obviously I would throw it out, and that's it's like the thing, is if that ever happened, like if I got a doll for a kid that I also would never have, I would throw it away. I would burn it.
I would burn it.
Yeah, in front of them.
Burn it.
Like,
I'd be like, sorry, I'll get you a new doll that's not, possessed by a demon.
Yeah, like, absolutely not. Well, in this case, obviously, like, the doll didn't start doing stuff until after the child passed, which makes it a little bit different, because they actually believe the child that owned the doll, of course, was the thing that possessed it. And I mean, I understand, like, that's something that's got probably, that adds, like, the tragedy of the story, is that the family was just so obviously distraught about the loss of their daughter. And, I mean, that kind of could have started some of it, too, as maybe they were, like, projecting onto this doll and, like, thinking things were happening almost, like, because they wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
And then that legend and then that talk kind of fed into the rumors of the doll. Mm-hmm. And then that might be, that could have been the origins, and now they make things creepy happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that does happen a lot. Like, there's a whole, there's a place out in PA called Hotel Conneaut. And what a lot of paranormal researchers believe is that that's what actually happened there, is that people these rumors started about these certain people that died in this building, and yet none of that stuff happened. Like, right. Yes, there was a fire at the hotel, but nobody died in the hotel fire. But there's a rumor that a woman in her wedding dress died in this fire. There's rumors of a disgruntled chef who killed himself. There was a disgruntled chef, but he died at a ripe old age of I don't know what, but he didn't kill himself in the place. So there's like these rumors, and people have fed these rumors so much in this hotel that it almost created its own entity.
Right.
And it caused activity to happen, because a lot of people believe that people can actually cause paranormal activity themselves.
Right.
Like psychokinetic kind of
Yeah,
thing.
because like the phrase paranormal activity doesn't necessarily obviously mean, oh, it's a ghost or, oh, it's a spirit. It can just be something that's that we don't understand.
Yeah.
That's just above our understanding, something from another realm almost. And like I said, what I'm kind of almost saying here is I believe that it's more of a mental thing where they created this like story in their head of the loss of their daughter to help cope, and then their coping mechanism turned into something that they realized they could capitalize on in some way.
Yeah.
But you could believe the other way of kind of what Kim's talking about with the Conneaut story, that they actually manifested something into this doll by believing it in the first place, too.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's how, if there is a demon in the doll, maybe because of them believing it so hard, they basically allowed it to go into the doll.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different, speculations and theories that can kind of go into this kind of thing. And I'm curious, if you're listening to this, or more specifically, if you're watching this, leave a comment and let us know what you think. Like, do you think it's actually possible for a ghost to be in it? Do you think it's a demon? Do you think it's all just bullcrap? Do you think, it's just like what I kind of said as my theory of, because I lean more into what I'm saying, that it's not a haunted doll. It makes more sense for them to, again, be project on it, and then they found a way to capitalize off of it. Other people did. Because it was never the family that was like advertising it as, come see the haunted doll. It wasn't until it went to the shrine that it kind of then became a tourist attraction. So, be that what it is.
If you'd like to visit the doll, it's at the Menenji Temple in Iwamizawa, Hokkaido, Japan. Yeah. That's as best as you're gonna get.
Yeah. Okiku. If you just look that up, you'll be able to find.
Yeah, you'll be
find where it's at if you
Okiku,
want to travel to Japan.
Haunted doll. Yeah.
Or if you're gonna be there and like creepy stuff, maybe it'll be a good sidetrack. I don't think I'd go to Japan for this, but there's a lot of things I would go to Japan for. I don't know if they do like ghost tours and stuff like we do in America. I feel like they're a little bit more like they're a little more scared of it because they believe in it so hard. They might have ghost tours and stuff.
Know.
I don't really know. I'm not sure. Because again, I've never been to Japan. I would like to. If we're ever able to like travel overseas easily again, then maybe I will. But as of now, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But it is definitely a bucket list thing of mine.
For sure.
Sucks because I really wanted to go to Japan because I wanted to check out the Universal's Super Nintendo World, but probably by the time we're allowed to travel to Japan easily, it'll be open at one near us. Yeah, it'll be like, oh, sadness. But yes, hopefully you enjoyed us talking about a creepy doll who grows human hair and teeth for a little while. Sleep tight.
Hopefully you don't wake up and there's a doll next to your bed.
Yeah. If you have a dream about it, you're just going to open your eyes like so slowly, like, please don't be there, please don't be there, please don't be there.
It's just a random Barbie doll.
Like, I'd move out of the place where that, like, if that happened, there's this doll there, like, no thank you. Like, no one's gonna let that keep happening. That's another reason why I think it's fake. Like, if you just took this thing on and you had no connection to it besides it, like, appearing beside you after appearing in your dreams, no, absolutely not. No, thank you. And that also, by the way, just sounds super demony. Like making you dream about it like that.
Yeah, that's some Chucky shit right there. No, thank you.
Yeah, as far as I know, it hasn't killed anybody yet. I don't know, but yeah. Either way, thank you very much for listening and/or watching. Make sure you do all the cool things. Like I said, leave a review if you're listening to this. If you're watching it, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Also, make sure you click that notification bell. There you go. It's a little anticlimactic this time, but that's okay. So you don't miss any upcoming videos because YouTube hates its viewers and does not like to let them know when things are uploaded, so that way you don't miss any of our videos. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.